Morning. I'm interested in some clarity over protected geographical indicator status, and how does that fit in with common frameworks that might be an internal market issue. And PGIs are about promoting the provenance of the produce in Scotland, beef, lamb, salmon and whisky, of course. And because they contribute to our food and drink industry £14 billion a year, it's really important to protect our rural economy, our Scottish economy, our jobs and everything. So, and I know you've talked about the progress that has been made already with food and feed hygiene and safety law and animal health and welfare, and so there's progress that's been made already. So I'm interested in the fact that if there's a no deal, we won't have any protection at all for the PGIs, and they're in the current withdrawal agreement. So, and people have told me that this would be devastating for our businesses. So I'd be interesting to hear about some further assurances of equivalent schemes or PGI, or where are we with that?
I'd be interested to hear those assurances too. The UK government has offered no such assurances. They published some proposals last week or the week before without consultation. I think it's a very serious situation. The European PGI system has been extremely good for these businesses. The ones you mentioned, yes, but Stornoway Black Pudding, our Both Smokies, Dunlop Cheese. These are products which are of the highest reputation and standard, which have benefited from European Protected Geographical Indicator status. And it is yet another example of how mad this process is, that would be thrown away in these circumstances. And even madder if there was to be a no deal and that protection was removed. I'm not saying there are hordes of people ready to fabricate false black pudding, but this is an important part of the market, and it is easy to diminish it. And there is a serious issue about what, for example, American producers of whiskey might want to call their product in order to sell it as something it isn't. And that's what this is about. You shouldn't be selling things on a false prospectus, but and unable to match the quality, the taste, the provenance of these items. Now, if there is a no deal, clearly one of the things that we will require to do, and obviously that is of an urgency, is to try and find some protection. But it's difficult for us to bring that protection just immediately. It won't have the reputation that the European system has. The European system works for two reasons. It has a reputation, and it's European-wide, but also it's enforceable. And that's a key issue. It is enforceable. You can't just call something, having PGI status. If you do it falsely, then you're in trouble. So we would want to do what we could to help, but it does illustrate how this issue goes down to every level. A cheesemaker in Dunlop, is going to be disadvantaged by the chaos that's been created at Whitehall.
Just a quick stop to that. I'm aware that the American beef lobby have lobbied their own trading consultation to basically say that the beef coming from America to Europe has flatlined. So they are seeking to reduce the welfare. So that would mean hormone-injected beef, which we don't want in this country, or other approaches. I'm aware of dairy farms and somatic cell counts, which is an issue that I've looked at as well. So having a PGI status would, in a wider European context, would protect our produce.
There is a high standard in food safety, and there is a high standard in terms of reputation and provenance. That's really important. And that is an approach that has been built over many years. And in the last 12 years of SNP government, the issue of Scottish food and drink and its export has become a huge one. The percentage of the Scottish economy devoted to this is much greater than it is south of the border. And that's also true in Wales and in Northern Ireland. In those circumstances, we should do everything we can to support and develop those industries. And actions that do not do that, we should roundly condemn. We should also refuse to accept lower standards. Patrick Harvey has been talking about lower environmental standards as part of the same argument. How on earth have we got to a situation where we are actively trying to negotiate lower standards in every part of our national life, including trading? How on earth could we get there? But that's where we are today.